Okay, hello, I'm Paul Lancaster from the Sage One team at Sage, and today I'm joined by with Kay Allen OBE. Hello, Kay. K-
Oh,
Hi, Kay. I've been looking at your LinkedIn profile, and it's you've had an amazing career so far. Not just paid roles, but a lot of voluntary and advisory roles as well. Do you just want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you've done in the past, for anyone that doesn't know?
sure. Okay. Well, I've had an amazing corporate career. I've been very privileged to work for some amazing brands like B&Q, B Sky B, and Royal Mail. And I've learnt an enormous amount working for those corporates. And it's quite interesting when people describe themselves as an entrepreneur, because actually I feel I've been quite entrepreneurial within those three big corporate brands. So, I've learnt an amazing amount about retail, media, and logistics, and all of that puts me in a good place. But my career's really been around the responsible business agenda in all its definitions of what that might mean. And my non-exec positions have included being a commissioner on the Disability Rights Commission and the Equality and Human Rights Commission. So I am very passionate. I'm very sorry, that was my dog barking in the background. I'm very passionate about treating people with respect, responsible business practices, and all that that might mean. And 3 years ago, I took a decision to leave Royal Mail. That time was right. And I was asked if I would do some thinking around responsible business and what that might mean for small businesses. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last few years.
Okay, so your new project or your new organisation that you're pushing now is called Trading for Good. Do you just want to explain what that is?
Trading for Good is really exciting. It was about 3 years ago, the Prime Minister gave a speech to Business in the Community's annual general meeting and was talking about this whole issue of businesses stepping up and being responsible. And when you look at the large businesses, it's quite easy to find out what they're doing because they'll have CSR departments and corporate social responsibility reports. But the challenge that the thinking in number 10 was, well, how would we engage small businesses in that same responsible business conversation? And at the same time, Philip Green was appointed as the Prime Minister's advisor on corporate social responsibility. And he asked Philip to help guide that thinking through. So we did lots of focus groups and we did everything you'd expect us to do and go and chat to small businesses. And I learned a great deal, and we presented some ideas back on what we thought might be interesting for small businesses. And from those focus groups and that conversation was born the idea of Trading for Good. So do you want me to tell you a little bit
So
about
yeah, well, yeah, because I've had a look on your website, and which looks great, by the way. I think it looks really, really nice. You've got an excellent short little video on the homepage or on the About Us page, which explains exactly what you are. So I'd encourage anyone to have a look at that. But in a nutshell, yeah, if you just want to explain what it is or who you think might use it.
Yeah, sure. So
Why?
Trading for Good, we were talking to SMEs about what it is that we could do to help them. So what we are not is we're not going to tell any SME how to run their business or what to do. What we learned from talking to the SMEs was that don't tell me what to do, I run my own business. Don't give me a toolkit, I'm too busy. We kind of instinctively get all of this corporate social responsibility stuff and know how to do it well. So Trading for Good is about small businesses telling us what they do well, and all we then do is put that into a profile and help them shout about it. So Trading for Good, in a nutshell, our elevator pitch is we're a new digital service that's there to shout about and promote the fantastic work that small businesses do in Britain. So everything from taking on work experience to apprentices to doing stuff in the environment to supporting local charities. SMEs do all of this stuff every single day, but how do they tell people that? One of the biggest challenges that was told to us in our focus groups was, if I'm a small independent pharmacist on the high street and my neighbour is Boots, and Boots do an amazing thing, for example, with Macmillan Cancer, it's quite easy for Boots to tell every customer that comes through the door what they've done. They can have point of sale on the reception desk, they can put posters in the window, so customers kind of know that Boots do all of this good stuff. But if I'm an independent pharmacist, for example, and I've just raised £2,000 for a tiny charity down the road, how do I tell my customers I've done that? I can't create a social responsibility report or do posters in the window. So Trading for Good is absolutely free at the point of use for SMEs. It's there to enable all SMEs to shout about the good that they do. So they simply join in, fill in their profile, and shout about the good that they do, and then we can promote that on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. And what other small businesses can do is start to look what other people are doing, learn, get some really great ideas, and then kind of maybe nudge a bit more behaviour in doing that. Is my dog really annoying you? Because I can just stand up and shut them.
No, I don't mind if you're happy to listen to it. Bring them in if you want. Bring them in if you want to put them on camera and make them stars for the day. What are they called, by the way?
My spaniel that's barking is called Holly, and my my lurcher will be asleep and being a good girl.
Well, she's obviously feeling like she's missing out and she wants to be part of it. But yeah, well, I mean that sounds great. Obviously, so you're trying to raise awareness, which is part of why we're doing this today, to raise a profile of Trading for Good for SMEs to get involved. But are you trying to get corporates involved? I know that we, Sage, are hosting an event at our headquarters in Newcastle on the 11th of April. So are you trying to get big businesses on the site as well? Is that the point?
Absolutely. What we're doing is we've got some amazing corporate partners, and I have to give huge credit to Fujitsu and Carillion, who've been our first partners. Santander have been amazing. They've sponsored us and got us going. But imagine all the data that we can collect on small businesses. So the idea behind Trading for Good is we have an offer for our large partners as well as our front-end offer for small businesses. So when small businesses join Trading for Good, they answer a very simple questionnaire. It's not rocket science, it just ticks a box on all the great things that they might do about employing apprentices or raising money for charity. Imagine if we pushed that questionnaire down a supply chain. So what we did with Fujitsu, we pushed our questionnaire through their 700 small business suppliers that work for Fujitsu. And we're able to then analyse that data and give that information back to Fujitsu in a social value report. And in a few weeks' time, you'll be able to download that report from our site. So what Fujitsu now have is intelligence on what's going on with their SMEs. So they can say with confidence now that they work with over 700 SMEs and they know how many apprentices have been created in their value chain, how much money's gone to charity, which is a fantastic story to know that by working with great SMEs, you're actually creating more social value and shared value within society. And that's a really important conversation to help happen between the big corporates and the small supply chain SMEs. And the reason why it's important, Paul, is because we can start to identify trends. So an example would be lots of the suppliers for Fujitsu were doing a great amount for giving work experience to young people, mentoring and talking to young people, but not so many were actually taking on apprentices. So what Fujitsu is able to do is hold some Meet the Buyer events and share with those SMEs their process for taking on an apprentice. So Fujitsu, which has got a fantastic HR department that takes on over 200 apprentices a year, it's quite easy for them to do the administration for another 5, 10, 50, 100 apprentices. So by sharing their expertise with their SME suppliers, they can perhaps encourage more SMEs to take on more apprentices. So it's that kind of conversation that we can stimulate. So what Trading for Good is all about is collecting information and being able to use that information to say, hey, Salford or Newcastle, we know that there are 3,000 fantastic businesses in Newcastle, and this is the behaviour that they're doing. This is the type of good stuff that they're doing. And then what we're going to do for our SMEs who are members of Trading for Good, the front end is all about the SME, not the corporate. And what we're going to do over the summer is build a media room. One of the things our members have asked us for is it's really hard for them to know how to write a press release and how to push a simple good news story to the local journalists. So we're going to build a media room so that we're going to get lots of journalists to join us. And on Trading for Good, our members will be easily and quickly be able to use a template to create a press release if they've done a fun run or raised some money for charity, and we'll be able to send that press release to some really great journalists who are prepared to really shout about the amazing stuff Britain's small businesses do. And the other big benefit for SMEs is if they want to tender for work in the public sector. So for example, I know that Fujitsu does a lot of work for Newcastle City Council. And quite rightly, under the Social Value Act that Chris White MP and Hazel Blears have been pushing and promoting, is that when you're spending public money, we want to know that that public money is doing good and creating more shared value. So imagine if we could come to Newcastle and say to your SMEs, here's an easy way to create your social value report. Join Trading for Good, fill in your profile, fill in your blog, upload your photographs, and then press print my social value report, and it will print off like a mini CSR report that's tailored to your SME, and you can slip that into your tenders. So if Fujitsu is saying, well, we want to work with great IT companies in Newcastle, but we want to know you work with young people, you're responsible in the environment, you have great diversity at work policies and flexible working practices. Instead of you scrabbling to do that every time you do a tender, you'll be able to slip it into your tender process. So we're trying to be really helpful and really useful to SMEs, and there's no catch. It's genuinely free, and you tell us what amazing stuff you do and we'll shout about it.
Brilliant. That sounds really good, because I could see the obvious marketing and PR value in being associated with it, whether you're a SME or a large business, but I wasn't aware of the potentially commercial value in having that report, because like you say, well, I have been involved in some tender bids in the past in a previous employment when I was working for a not-for-profit enterprise agency, and I know how difficult it can be pulling all that information together for the public sector. So anything you can do to make people's lives easier and increase their chances of getting work through the public sector is brilliant, I think. So well done.
Well, that's our job over the next few years, is to get the Trading for Good brand really well recognised with public sectors, anyone who's a procurement officer. So when they see the Trading for Good report, they can go online, verify it, and they'll start to recognise that that's the mark of a good business. And that's our ultimate aim. Within a couple of years, we'll have 500,000 fantastic small businesses networking on Trading for Good, and their social value reports will become recognised as an accepted way to deliver their message into the large corporates, that they're doing business with good businesses. So, you know, Trading for Good, we absolutely know that SMEs can't afford the time to do things if it doesn't grow their business, if it's not profitable for them. So anything that helps their reputation, helps customers find them, helps them win work, that's what we're about, that's what we want to do. We're not red tape, we're not burden, we're not difficult, we're here to just say, we can make this little bit of your business a little bit easier. That's what we want to do.
Excellent, yeah, because it can be very time consuming, can't it? Putting these bids together for procurement processes, especially if you're a small organisation, as opposed to like a large organisation that might have one or a team of people whose job it is to fill out these bids. So yeah, anything that speeds that process up and gives people a bit of their time back and means that they're not wasting the time's excellent. So, so you've had your launch event did you have that last week at Westminster? Is that right?
Yeah, we launched our form. We went live last summer and with the IOD in London. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go around the country and do mini regional engagement events, so that we can say, how do we get all those small businesses in a region to come on to Trading for Good? So we've identified 4 regions that we're going to start with. So we've got Westminster, because there's an enormous amount of small businesses in Westminster. We've chosen Salford. Hazel Blears is a fantastic champion of social value, and the Mayor of Salford is amazing. He's got a charter for small businesses, and there's the media centre and the enterprise centre around Salford, so that made sense for us to choose that. So we're at Salford this Friday. Newcastle, again, your local MP, is fantastic around helping enterprise, and Newcastle's got some fantastic enterprise areas and a brilliant local federation for small business and great engagement there. And we're also going to go to Ipswich. The Chief Executive of Ipswich Building Society is a fantastic advocate of all of this, and also Ipswich represents a very different demographic profile, very rural and not so many big businesses. So we're going to focus on those 4 areas for now. So the idea of the mini engagements is to invite the movers and shakers for a coffee and let them leave the room feeling inspired. become our ambassadors and advocates for the future. And then we'll spend 3 to 6 months really engaging with all the SMEs in that area, get them onto Trading for Good, and then produce some social value reports for Newcastle, Ipswich, Salford and Westminster, which shows you the amazing things that Britain's small businesses do. And the idea is, when I get Trading for Good to scale in each of those regions, we'll launch a public-facing campaign, so that, Paul, if you need a plumber when you're tap stripping, I'd like you to choose a plumber based on the fact that they're a great local company that supports the local school, gives work experience to young people, and all of those things that start to become important to you, where your money goes. So the ultimate aim for Trading for Good is that it will also become a fantastic tool for you, the customer, to find a great small business to spend your money with. So Trading for Good will offer a fantastic proposition to the corporates. We can measure social value in their supply chain. It will be an amazing proposition for the SME itself. We'll take away some of the pain. We'll make it easy for them, and we'll shout about the great stuff that they do. But I also want to have a customer proposition that we become a great search engine to find really smart, great businesses. So that's kind of where we hope to be, my big vision in a couple of years' time.
Excellent. Well, I've got a feeling that you're going to succeed. I think you can do very well with this. So I'm glad that we're playing a small part of that and helping to raise awareness of it. So if people want to get involved in Trading for Good now, what do they do? What's the web address?
Lots of ways. Tradingforgood.co.uk. Find us on Twitter. We're at Trading for Good. Find us on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. You can tweet us. We're very good at answering on Twitter. We've got a fantastic social media team who help us. If you're a small business, just click join in and join in. It's really simple. Put your email address in, verify your email, and then answer our little questions. There's 40 questions. They're all tick box. You don't have to have any figures or data to hand. It's all about roughly what do you think you do, and then you'll be asked to log back in and just upload your blogs. You can upload your photos if you've done a fun run, if you did anything for sports relief. So many people did stuff for sports relief. You know, get all of that onto Trading for Good, and we'll start tweeting about it and pushing it out on social media for you. So we're really easy to find, really easy to connect to. If anyone's in Salford on Friday, we've got an amazing space in the hub. We've got loads of coffee, loads of space, some great people dropping in. Drop by between 2 and 4. You can meet the mayor, who's amazing. Come and say hello to Hazel. We've got some other great business people coming along. We've got some media to do some interviews with some great businesses. So pop along to Salford and let's see how we can help you.
Excellent. Okay. So I'm interested to know a little bit more about you and your background. I know you've touched on it, but how did you end up doing what you're doing now? Have you always been interested in doing things for social good, or is it just something that you've kind of moved into over the years? Because looking at your career on LinkedIn, there's a lot of HR and PR roles that you've done. But was it just you just fell into it, or is it something you've always been wanting to work in?
Well, I think I have to credit B&Q for a lot of my thinking. You know, I joined B&Q a long, long time ago, but they were an incredibly ethical company. What they did with the environment, I had the great privilege to work with Dr. Alan Knight, and you know, I was given an amazing role in B&Q that I could look at demographics, I could look at the over 50s strategy, I could look at disability, and just knowing that you could be a very good, profitable business, B&Q just ingrained that in me. So when I now just assumed that good businesses would operate in that way. I've always been quite entrepreneurial. I've always had a few small businesses running in the background. I've done everything from running an Arab stud to being involved in all sorts of small businesses. I have another small business which I launched last summer, which I'm very also passionate and excited about, called the Really Useful Stuff Company. That's a new online shop designed solely to sell ergonomically designed products that are just beautifully designed and amazing to help disabled and older people live more independently. And I just know I can run a very successful, profitable business that's based on social good, that is a good business. I work with some fantastic brands on giving them CSR advice, although we kind of don't use that language now. It's more about just honest business, responsible business practice that's transparent. I have the great privilege to work with Fujitsu, who have done an enormous amount on their responsible business journey and what they do for ethics. So yeah, just always been in this kind of space. Hope to like to think I am quite a good person. And volunteering is amazing. When you volunteer and you do something, I get more out of what I've done in my volunteering than I think that they do, because you just know that you're making a small difference in that small way. So yeah, love it. I have the best job in the world.
Brilliant. Yeah, because when you volunteer, you're obviously doing it for the love of it, aren't you? You're not, and people appreciate that and they recognise it, that you're not just doing it because you're getting paid to do it. You're there from your own volition that you want to do that. So volunteering a long time ago. Well, before I joined Sage, like I mentioned earlier, I used to work for a not-for-profit and used to work quite closely with voluntary and community sector organisations. And it's a fantastic sector, isn't it? For anyone that hasn't been involved in it before, there's so many amazing people doing brilliant things every day of the year that maybe don't get the recognition that they deserve, but they're real heroes, aren't they? A lot of those people. So yeah, if you can shine a light on that and encourage more people to get involved with them that do what you're doing, then fantastic.
But it's a great way to recognise your staff as well. You know, if you're a small business and you've had a great volunteering experience, or you've done stuff for Sports Relief or whatever local charity you support, it's a fantastic way to put your photographs up and say, I'm really proud of my team. You know, we're a small business, but look what an amazing job my staff do. It gives your staff a great buzz as well, and it's such a fantastic way of giving them sensible public recognition. And it's all about inspiring your staff to stay loyal to your business, and that doesn't matter if you're a small hairdressers down the road trying to keep 10 staff happy, or you're Fujitsu or Sage trying to keep 14,000 staff happy. Employee engagement is a very powerful part of your overall business plan, and if you can keep your staff engaged by making them feel proud to work for your company, it's a no-brainer. So yes.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, I mean, I'm not doing this just as a plug for Sage, but one of the things when I joined Sage in November 2012 that impressed me immediately was every month there is a new charity that the staff donate to, and there's always activities going on, donations, voluntary activity going on. We invite local businesses into the office because we've got a huge atrium here, and we regularly have little markets for small businesses to sell their products and their food items. And Sage's CSR, I know you said you don't normally call that, but Sage's CSR program donates hundreds of thousands of pounds to good causes, but I don't think many people are aware of that all this stuff goes on. And so maybe through things like Trading for Good, we can promote that a bit better, and maybe show people some good best practice as well that other people can learn from and we can learn from as well.
Well, that's one of the reasons why. I mean, this is a genuine story. I was really struggling with my accounts for really useful stuff, so my accountant persuaded me to be brave and download Sage 1.
All right, yeah, I heard this, yeah, excellent.
My Saturday morning, so exciting. So I downloaded Sage, and I was so impressed with how intuitive it was. It was easy to use, took the pain out of my VAT. I love you for that. So I decided I got stuck on how to do the credit card bit. So I went onto your online chat, which was fantastic. So I decided I was going to send an email back to Sage to say thank you for my good experience, because I like to give good feedback as well as bad feedback. Yeah. And on your homepage, I was surprised then to see all the good stuff that you do, your amazing CSR strategy. So I researched you quite a lot, and I had a real light bulb moment, because there you are doing this amazing stuff for small businesses, helping them run their accounts more easily. It was a no-brainer for me that I would want to work with you in Trading for Good. I didn't know anybody in Sage, so I went onto LinkedIn and I found your Sage group on LinkedIn. I found Chris on LinkedIn. I sent him a LinkedIn message and said, you don't know me, but please do get in touch and connect, which he did. And then he introduced me to Lee, and in that short space of time, less than 4 weeks, we've had some fantastic engagement with Sage. But imagine if Trading for Good could help Sage launch a strategy for accounting for good. Imagine if Sage could say, not only do we do all of this great stuff, but all the SMEs that we help and have our packages do all of this good stuff as well, then we will be able to really start to account for all the hidden value, all the unsung heroes, all the pro bono hours. I just think it would be amazing. So that's why I came knocking on Sage's door, because you are a good company and Trading for Good has to be careful, and we want to work with other big corporates. So yes, perfect partner, I hope.
Oh, good. Well, thank you very well. Well done to you for being so thorough as well. But not everyone would do that. But that's fantastic. It's a good story there. I'm glad Chris did get back in touch with it, and he did actually. Round about that time, he came to me and told me about you, and he said, "Who do you think I should speak to?" And I think I suggested Lee. So yeah, Chris is a good guy, and Lee's fantastic as well. So yeah, I've been impressed how quickly things have happened as well. So it just shows, I suppose, it's credit to you as well, and the power and influence of you to get people interested and excited in what you're doing through Trading for Good. So I'm certainly looking forward to the event, and I hope I'll be there on the 11th of April.
Yeah, the event invitation goes live this afternoon, so we'll send everyone a link. We're working with an amazing small business. Can I just give a plug for our small businesses?
Yeah, sure.
Work with SMEs. So we've had a fantastic small business Blast do our design. Itinerus have done all our IT, and we've just met the most amazing small business called Blendology. So when we come to your event, you'll get a name badge that works on Bluetooth. So instead of asking you for my business card, we'll just tap and connect. And at the end of the event, you'll get your email, join your cloud, and there will be all the connections you've made. You can pull in your LinkedIn profile and all your social media, so people can instantly connect, which I just think is amazing. There are so many fantastic small businesses out there, and every time I meet one of them I just get more and more inspired and want to help them all. So yeah, really looking forward to coming to Newcastle. If any of your amazing businesses in Newcastle want to come, that would be fantastic. Yeah,
I've already helped suggest a few people to invite along, so I'm looking forward to catching up with them, and yeah, I think it's going to be a really good event, so I'm looking forward to it, and continuing to support you and Trading for Good through Stage 1 and Sage over the coming weeks and months.
Well, my chair's coming, so Philip Greens wants to come as well, so you'll get to meet Philip, and Philip has just been such a fantastic advocate for Trading for Good. He's a brilliant chairman, and you know, as he does so much for charity as well, so I'm very excited that Philip's going to come and meet the team at Sage as well.
Excellent. Okay, well, Kay Allen, thank you very much for doing this, and I look forward to seeing you on the 11th of April. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks, Kay.
Bye. Bye.